Welcome to today's class of chapter 8, that is decimals. Here we will learn about what decimals actually mean, and so let us start with the definition of decimal. A decimal is defined as a number expressed in decimal notation and is generally applied to values that have a fractional part. It is also separated from the integer part by a decimal separator known as decimal point. Here, let us understand this with the help of an example of the number 34.7. Here, in the number, 3 is at tens place, 4 is at ones place, point indicates decimal separator, that is decimal point, whereas 7 is at 10th place. Now, let us learn about decimal point or say decimal separator. When we use dots to represent some number, then that dot in the number is said to be as decimal point. Decimal point is used to show the part of a whole number. For example, if we want to represent fifth part of 10, then we can write it as 0.5. Now, let us learn about how to represent decimals on number line. Decimals are represented on number line in the same way as we represent fractions, or say as we represented fractions in earlier classes. And so let us learn it with the help of an example of 0.3, 0.5 and 0.8. Here, as we look at the numbers, we can say that they are greater than 0 but less than 1, and thus they will lie between 0 and 1 on the number line. Thus, we will draw a line and mark 2 points 0 and 1 such that it is divided into 10 equal parts, and then mark 0.3, 0.5 and 0.8 on it as shown here. Now let us learn about fractions as decimals. Here, fractions as decimals means how to convert fractions into decimals. Well, it is easy to write fractions with 10 as denominator in decimal form. But if the denominator is not 10, then we have to find the equivalent fraction with denominator as 10. Thus, let us learn this with the help of the two examples of 12 by 5 and 3 by 2 given here. Well, in order to find the decimal form of fractions, 12 by 5 will have to multiply 12 by 5 with another non-zero fraction 2 by 2. Thus, by multiplying 12 by 5 with 2 by 2, it gives us the new fractional form with the denominator 10 as 24 by 10. And thus, the decimal form of 24 by 10 is 2.4. Similarly, in order to get the decimal form of 3 by 2, we'll have to multiply 3 by 2 with the non-zero fraction 5 by 5, which gives us 15 by 10 as the equivalent fraction of 3 by 2 with denominator 10, and thus the decimal form of 15 by 10 is 1.5. Now let us learn about decimals as fractions. Here, decimals as fractions means how to convert decimals into fractions. Well, it is nothing but the reverse of what we have learned for fractions to decimals. But still, let us learn it with the help of an example. Here, in order to get the fractional form of 2.5, we'll do the following steps shown here. Now let us learn about place value. Well, the place value chart tells the place value of its digit in the decimal number. Place value chart makes it easy for us to write numbers in decimal form. Here the chart shows various numbers, that is thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, tenth, hundredth and so on. Now let us learn as in how to do addition of decimal numbers. To add the decimal numbers, we can add them as whole numbers, but the decimal will remain at the same place as it was in the given numbers. It means that we have to line up the decimal point in each number while writing them and then add them as a whole number. Here, let us see an example which would help us to understand how to add the decimal numbers. Similarly, let us learn about subtraction of decimal numbers. Subtraction is also done as normal whole numbers after lining up the decimals of the given number. Here, let us learn with the help of an example how to subtract one decimal number from the another. Well, this is the normal subtraction that we have learned in earlier classes. Here, let us also learn about multiplications of decimal numbers. With the help of an example, here let us understand it. Multiplication of 2.8 and 7. Well, there is only one digit to the right of the decimal point in 2.8. Thus, here first of all we'll ignore the decimals and multiply 28 by 7 and get the result 196. Now we will bring back the decimal after one digit from the left and thus our answer is 19.6. Similarly, let us learn about divisions of decimals with the help of an example of 3 by 4 divided by 2. Well, here we would ignore the decimal and then divide the numerator by denominator. Thus, 34 divided by 2 gives the value or quotient as 17. Well, as there is only one digit to the right of decimal in the quotient, we will put the decimal after one digit from the left in the quotient. Therefore, quotient becomes 1.7 and thus our answer for 3.4 divided by 2 is 1.7. Now let us learn about multiplications and divisions of decimal numbers by 10, 100 and 1000. As we know, decimals are nothing but another form of expressing fractions having 10 as its base. We can express above examples as a fraction and can multiply and divide it as a fraction. Multiplication and division of decimals by numbers that have powers of 10 is easier than that by a whole number. Thus, let us learn about the operations, that is the arithmetic operations or rules for multiplications and divisions of decimal numbers by 10, hundreds and thousands in the following slides. Here, let us first learn about the arithmetic operation of multiplication by 10, 100 and 1000. Well, if we want to multiply a decimal number by 10, then the rule says the number will move one place value to the left. For example, if we multiply 5.63 with the 10, then our answer will be 56.3. Similarly, if we multiply 5.63 by 100, then our answer will be 563. Well, here the number moved two places, or say two place values to the left. Similarly, if we multiply 5.63 by 1000, then our answer will be 5630. Well, here we can say that the number will move three places to the left, or say the number moved three places to the left. Similarly, let us learn about divisions. Well, what if we divide 56.3 by 10? Well, here the number will move one place value to the right. Similarly, if we divide 56.3 by 100, then the number will move two place values to the right. And similar is the case for 56.3 divided by 1000. Well, here the number will move three place values to the right, giving us the answer as 0.0563. Well, I hope you are clear with the concepts. Thank you.